Hello again, everyone. I'm Joe Longinusa, welcoming you to another edition of Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, the show where industry leaders, golf professionals, and legends all come and discuss the great game we love so much. So without further ado, let's turn it over to our host to tell us who's next on the tee. Chris, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming back and joining me today on Next on the Tee. We know you've got a lot of choices for radio shows and podcasts to listen to out there, and we really appreciate the fact that you've chosen Next on the Tee to be one of them. We are brought to you today by the great folks over at the French Lick Resort. You can find them online at FrenchLick.com. Our new friends over at the Leather Shop, makers of top quality custom-made leather shoes. You can find them online at the-leather-shop.com. I am your host, Chris Mascaro, and today I'm excited to share three more great guests with you. First up is going to be Golf Magazine Top 100 instructor Brady Riggs. Brady has some outstanding tips to help us improve our games. He instructs players at all levels, from tour players to high handicappers. Doesn't look or act like a stereotypical instructor, and I read that he got some interesting feedback once from another instructor about that, which we'll talk about. But Brady is going to be along here to join me in just a few moments. Following him is going to be Avery Zweig. Avery has won over 100 junior golf tournaments, and folks, she's only 9 years old. She set the scoring record at the North Texas Junior PGA Tournament at 8 under par, and that's the same tournament that players like Jordan Spieth, Brittany Lang, and Hunter Mahan have played in. She's currently the number one ranked player in the world for her high school graduating class of 2025, and she's going to be competing at the drive, chip, and putt competition at Augusta National here on April the 3rd. So we're looking forward to having she and her father Ivan, and Ivan also caddies for her. We look forward to having them on the show here in about 25 minutes. So we're going to have a lot of fun today. It's going to be another insightful show, and I'm so glad that you're here to take the journey with me this morning. But I've got my next guest, Ivan and Avery Zweig, about ready to join me here on the show. We'll do that on the other side of this word from our friends over at the French Lick Resort.
You're listening to Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, heard around the world on the Armed Forces Radio Network.
Now joining me on the French Lick Resort guest line is Ivan and Avery Zweig. Let me give you some background on them. Avery is 9 years old and has already won 109 golf tournaments. And to give you some perspective, folks, she's only entered 190 of them, so she wins 57% of the time. She's the number one ranked player in the world for the high school graduating class of 2025 on the junior golf scoreboard. Last September, she won her region for the drive, chip, and putt contest at Hazeltine National to qualify for the finals, which are going to be held at Augusta National on Sunday, April the 3rd. Avery holds the North Texas Junior PGA scoring record for any age or gender at 8 under par, including having made a double eagle at the age of 7 at Bear Creek Golf Club in Dallas. Avery holds the scoring record on the same tour that Jordan Spieth, Brittany Lang, Angela Stanford, and Hunter Mahan all played on. Last October, she fired a personal best 74 from the women's tees at Sherrill Park No. 2 to win the North Texas Junior PGA by one stroke. She was the world champion at the World Star of Junior Golf last season. She finished second in the U.S. Kids World Championship and the IMG World Championship in 2015. And I am pleased that she and her father/caddy, Ivan, are next on the tee with me this morning. Good morning, Ivan. Good morning, Avery. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I don't know how we can follow up that introduction. We may just have to. It's all downhill from there. Pretty good. Thank you for the intro.
Absolutely. And Avery, let me start with you. Since you're only 9 years old, you're making double eagles at age 7. Talk about going back. When you first picked up a golf club.
Well.
When you were 2.
I first started out putting because if you can't putt, putting can make up for a lot of bad shots. That's what we say. So, it was a very good experience for me, and a good sport for me to play because my dad had played almost every day, and in fact he played so much that I thought he worked at the golf course, and I told high school class that he worked at the golf course, but he did sales stuff there. So.
Yeah, so I told Avery, I don't work at the golf course. I just play a lot, and I have meetings there. And she looked at me all confused. It was really funny. When she was 2 years old, she said that.
2 years old, right? To your point, she first started, actually picking up a golf club at age 2. Is that right, Ivan?
Yeah, so she saw me go, like I said, she saw me always going to the golf course, and I'd have meetings there and then go play golf, and she said I want to golf when she was 2. I said okay, and so I got her a putting mat, and literally almost every morning before she'd go to Primrose, her little preschool, she'd say I want to golf, and so we'd sit there and I'd say okay, feet together, she'd put her feet together, and then left hand, right hand, I'd stand over her and help her with her posture. And within a few months, she was able to putt them on her own, and by the time she was 3, she could make the little 5-footers pretty consistently on that mat. And but the funny thing is, she would putt for 5, 6 putts, and then throw the putter down, and then be running around the house. But hey, she thought she was a golfer, and that's what was important. So at the time, so.
And to that point, Ivan, when did you first, take a look at, her skills and her ability and say, you know what, she could be pretty good at this?
When she was 4, she was a good putter, for a 4-year-old. And I know it sounds kind of silly, but even when she was 5 and 6, you'd get in these U.S. kids tournaments. And I'm as the daddy caddy, you're all excited. She's got a 10-footer for birdie and launches it 15 feet past the hole, and then 4 feet short on the way back. So you're like, oh my God. So, but comparatively, you could just tell. And she always, to this day, is very, very attentive, even to her father/caddy, but especially to her instructors. And I would say when she was 6. When she was really starting to play decent, and she got in her first couple of bad situations, and like one time she had a fried egg, and I showed her I just explained to her how to hit it. She had never worked on hitting fried eggs before out of a bunker, and she hit it perfectly. And then, like a punch shot, she, usually when they're little and they're good players, they're right down the middle. They're never in trouble. So one time she was in the trees, and just me explaining to her, put it back in your stance, hold your finish so you don't lift it up in the air, that kind of thing. And she executes. I don't know adults that could do that with me giving them as much explanation as possible. They couldn't do it. So that was probably when I was like, we're on to something here. So.
And Avery, what do you enjoy most about playing the game?
Well, I'm very competitive. Whether it's homework or schoolwork or another sport, I want to win. That and I get to meet new people around the world. For example, I met this girl named Chanel. She's from Africa, and without golf, I would have never been able to meet a person that far away. So those are essentially my 2 favorite things about golf.
And Avery, as I was, kind of watching some of the videos of you online, and as I mentioned in the intro, you made a double eagle at the age of 7. And not only did you make a double eagle, you made it by driving the green and then making the putt. How exciting! An albatross is something we all want to make. We go through most people go through their whole golfing lives without having made one. You made one at age 7. What do you remember about that?
Well, I remember it being really windy outside. It was just a normal NTPGA tournament until that happened on the first hole. I hit a good drive, and it bounced up the hill to 5 feet, and I hit a good putt, and I made the 5-footer, and I was really excited. First, I asked my dad if it was a par 4, and then I had played these little putt games on my iPod and known it was an albatross. For some reason.
She would never have known the word albatross otherwise. So video games are good for something.
Indeed. And Ivan, I know this sounds crazy because Avery's 9, but do you have like equipment companies and high schools and colleges, let's kind of say, quote unquote, courting her already?
It's kind of funny because we're moving close to the golf course. We're moving in about a month, and we wanted to meet. We're narrowing it down to a couple of high schools, and there's one, Allen High School, that has a great program. They're every year they're in it, and I'd like her to be around. I don't think it matters for her specifically which team she's on. I think she, as a medalist, she'll do well regardless, but it would behoove her to be playing with other good players that really care about the game, and in a program where the coach really cares. And so, long story short, we asked to meet with the coach, and she didn't reply to me for like a week, and I thought, wow, it's kind of weird. And but she said, she was so polite, and she said, I had to check with I don't know who, the UIL or somebody. She had to check with them to make sure she was allowed to talk to Avery, because when they're in middle school, they cannot talk to them. So she's actually so young, the rules kind of don't apply yet. And so she came out and watched Avery, and we're very excited to be going up there into the Allen ISD and playing there. But yeah, we haven't had a lot of interaction with college, and we do get some equipment swag. And they're allowed to be on. I don't know what the exact rules are. She hasn't gotten that much, but I know they have junior staff programs. But it's usually once they start getting an AJGA that the equipment companies really start paying attention.
Uh-huh. And Ivan, she's like I said, she's played in 190 golf tournaments already, which is a lot of golf for someone who's just turned 9 years old. How do you balance for her golf and school and really just time to be a kid?
Well, that'd be a good question to ask her too. But I am not. I played professional baseball and I played in college, and I didn't have someone standing over me telling me you've got to do this, this, and this. And so I pretty much am the same way. She's either got the fire, or she doesn't. So, and she does. But I will say there's some stipulations. We have to kind of lay out her schedule for the week before the week starts and say, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. And she has to buy in. And as a normal kid, she doesn't really like when there's a deviation on the schedule. Sometimes, you can't help it. But man, we really don't. We don't. I hate to even say this because she does work extremely hard, but we're very big on quality, not quantity. So we'll go out there for an hour and a half or two, or hour to 2 hours. Sometimes it's just an hour, depending on what else she's got going on. But we're not out there banging on balls hardly ever. And when we're out there, there's a purpose for what we're doing. And it's we practice 3 or 4 times a week, and during the school year she plays on Saturdays and Sundays if there's tournaments, and that's what she loves to do. So,
all right,
I'm all for it.
And Avery, as I was reading your bio, I read that your favorite male player is Jordan Spieth, and having been in the same area of the country where he kind of grew up and played his junior golf. Have you ever had a chance to meet and talk to Jordan?
I haven't, but there's a good possibility I will after the drive, chip, and putt happens, but we're still going to be in Augusta a day later. So I think he's going to meet me that day, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I bet you are. And Avery, as you talk about participating in the drive, chip, and putt contest here in a couple of weeks at Augusta National, how excited are you to get the opportunity to be a part of that competition?
I'm very excited. Not a lot of girls get to be there, let alone just play. So if just going there and not winning, it's like a win. And if I do win, it just makes it even more fun.
Yeah, to that point, Avery, win or lose, is getting back there now every year for the next several years, is that one of your goals now?
She's thinking. If you could see the thought cloud above her head.
It could be, but that's a very big goal. I think if I just try my best, I can achieve a lot, and it can be.
She doesn't like to mouth herself, Chris. So that's why she's being like that. She's learned from the Bull Durham school of cliches not to mouth herself. So I'm her Crash Davis. So
So Ivan, do you guys get to go down there early and practice on Augusta Nationals, the range that they have set up for this competition?
That would be awesome, but no. They do have some pretty cool stuff set up, though. There's a very nice reception the night before, and apparently like Lou Holtz and Condoleezza Rice and other members are there at the reception. What?
And there's a pizza and ice cream party after.
Yeah, she's more excited about that. but yeah, so there's a very cool reception, and they all get all gussied up and get to hang out with their friends, and I believe Billy Payne, give a speech, and apparently gave a really good one last year because a couple of Avery's friends were there last year, and but no, so there'll be that, and then they kind of get ushered in there. They have an hour to practice, and talking to some of the guys from last year, that's a little bit sketchy because it's kind of a whirlwind, and they're very, they have you going kind of in a straight line. We need you here. They're, as you can imagine, they're very, very well run, and we're just along for the ride, and we're just going to have a good time no matter what. And all she has to do really is just relax the best she can and get her putting speeds calibrated, and she'll be fine because she loves fast greens. So that we won't have a problem with that because they're supposed to be very fast.
And Avery, so looking at all the aspects of your game, what would you say is the best part of your game?
Putting.
Oh,
because
there you go. So that's going to be important when you get there. So good for you.
Thank you. But I love putting, and it's just the favorite part of my game because it's the first thing that was an aspect of my golf game, and it grew from putting to chipping to hitting balls, and I still just love putting the most.
And Avery, you've certainly won the majority of the tournaments that you've played in. You're sort of like the young lady version of Tiger Woods. How do you feel like you should win every tournament, or do you just sort of go out there and have fun and whatever happens, happens?
I don't feel like I should win any tournaments because some were just out there to learn. Like I've played in 2 where I have to caddy for myself, push the cart for 18 holes. And yes, I have a chance to win, but we were going to be okay if I did my best, and I didn't win, and we were just out there to learn and see what would happen. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, she played she's played over Christmas. She played in 2 different tournaments. One was 13U, I believe. The other one was 14U out in Arizona. And I think she thought the lady that runs the tour there thought we were crazy. But I said, she'll have fun. She won't embarrass herself, I promise. She knows the rules. She'll be fine. I said, I don't know what she'll score. And, man, she was 2 strokes off of coming in 3rd place. She got 7th in the one in Arizona. And I was just floored. It was so fun. I was so nervous and almost miserable prior to her teeing off. But after about 3 holes, she completely knew what she was doing. We made notes on each hole in our practice round, which was essential. And, so she had a specific intermediate point and a line on every hole off the tee, so she knew where to aim. And then the rest of it, there was multiple times where she had to call an audible because she was offline or whatever. And a couple of times she had the wherewithal to lay up rather than hitting a 140-yard shot into a bunker that she had no chance of getting to the pin. She laid up, and then she made par one of the times. I was really excited when that happened. I mean, that
wow.
you can't, you can teach them all you want, but you can't really make them learn it. They either want to do it or they don't. And she had, like I said, I've been able to explain golf shots to her or explain what to do with a club in your hand on a specific kind of crazy golf shot, and she can execute them. And she's got a very high golf IQ, so I think that's a good, potential recipe for success in the future.
Yeah, no doubt. And Ivan, as the father of the most dominant player out there, are other parents genuinely friendly, or do you sort of get the cold shoulder because she is winning so often?
Well, for one, there's lots of great players out there, so Avery does win a lot. On the national scene, there's a handful of really good players that are her age, and they're all duking it out back and forth, and some of them have good days and some of them have bad days. I think in general, other than maybe one family, that everybody else really gets along. They really like each other. They truly enjoy the travel, and then they get to, the girls. They we've gotten it to where they can play practice rounds without it turning into playtime. So they grind it out during their practice round, and then we let them go wheels off during the practice rounds afterwards, and they can go play and go swimming or whatever. And they really, it's almost like, fraternity for the boys or sorority for the girls. They really have their own set of friends, because a lot of them are spending a lot of time on the course, and so they don't do some of the other activities that other kids would do, if they don't have any sport that they're into or working on.
I'm talking with Avery and Avery Zweig here on Next on the Tee, and a couple more before we let you guys go. Avery, you also do some very cool things for charity, particularly the Win Green for Carson Cancer Fund. And Carson's a 2-year-old boy from Louisiana who's recovering from cancer. Talk about the things that you're doing to help support him.
Well, his name is Kason.
Sorry, it's Kason Crow. That's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
And he's a 2-year-old boy with cancer, and he's with St. Jude. They're an incredible organization, and he's on the road to recovery. But they have some medical bills to pay off, so I'm trying to raise some funds for him. If you want to donate now, we're doing a pledge drive. If you want to donate now, go to wingreenforcason.com or...
Yeah, or you can go to wingreenforcason.com, and that's a pledge drive. And on the pledge drive, you can pledge anywhere from $2 to $20. And Avery's got her schedule up there, and they can pledge anywhere from $2 to $20, and it's based on her schedule. If she wins, they pledge the full amount. If she's on the medalist stand and basically second through fifth, they pledge half. And if she comes outside of fifth place, then we're out of luck for that one. So she raised almost $10,000 last year doing this by herself. And the cool part is this year, the golf sorority I alluded to earlier, 2 of her good friends wanted to participate. So now it's Avery and 2 of her best golf friends that are playing with her, and they're collecting pledges in their area for the same little boy, Kason. And also off of that, since we've had it on social media, we've had 2 other little boys that said, hey, we want to participate. So, the hope is maybe this will turn into, in a year or 2, we'll have elite players all over the country playing for one participant that's in need per year. You never know what it could grow to, but Avery really wanted to do something for the person last year that we did it for, and that's kind of how it started. It was really her initiative and her, hey, how can we do something for Mr. Jeff? And that's how it kind of evolved.
And how did you get involved with Kason?
Well, I played baseball in college. One of my friends from LSU, he great pitcher, Rick Green. He started a cancer foundation called the Two Seam Dream Foundation, and he started seeing some of her social media posts last year, and he actually asked me, said, hey, will she wear my logo on some shirts? I said, sure. I don't know what that's going to get you. She's got a decent following, but it's not like having Tiger or something wearing it, but we joked around, and then I swear the next day we went to a fundraiser for the custodian at her school, Mr. Jeff, who was the one last year she played for, and it was just they did a good job, a lot of effort, but they didn't raise as much money as we thought we could do, and Avery said, I want to do something for Mr. Jeff on my own. How can we do that? And then we were driving home, and I just said, let's call Rick and see if we can put something together. And kind of the rest is history. We called Rick Green, and we put this campaign together. He's really been helpful in making this happen, and goes through his charity. And then obviously all of the proceeds go straight from him to the recipient.
And Avery, as you look out through the rest of this year, what are some of the events you're looking forward to playing in?
Well, definitely Augusta. World Stars, IMG, Pinehurst for U.S. Kids World Championship.
Those are your three. That's kind of the gauntlet there. Those three in July, they're back to back to back. It's 3 World Championships in a row. IMG, then World Stars in Las Vegas, and then actually this year there's a week off, and then they go to Pinehurst, and that Pinehurst is really the big one. It's in Pinehurst, and it's U.S. Kids, and they'll have probably 70 or 80 kids in her flight, and very, very hotly contested, and they're from all over the world.
And Ivan, before we let you guys go, let our listeners know how they can keep track of the things that both you and Avery are doing online and over social media as well.
Great, thank you. So you can go to Facebook. She's got a fan page, Avery Zweig Golf, and then her Twitter handle and Instagram are both at Avery Zweig. It's Avery, Z as in zebra, Weig. And again, in the Win Green for Kaysen campaign, it's Win Green for Kaysen, CASON.com. And we'd love it if people could pledge. It's been very successful thus far, the last couple of weeks since it started. So we'd love to get as many pledges as we can for that wonderful family in Monroe.
That's great stuff. Avery, Ivan, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to be a part of the show. It was great having you here. Best of luck at the drive, chip, and putt contest at Augusta National. We're going to be watching and rooting hard for both of you. So we look forward to seeing you be successful there and enjoying the game. And we look forward to watching you as Avery, as you grow and develop throughout the course of your golfing career. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you again for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Chris.
Absolutely. Thank you guys as well. Best of luck to both of you, and all the best to you and your family. Hopefully we get the opportunity to catch up with you guys sometime later in the year. Love to see how you guys are doing.
Anytime. Just I know her PR guy, so that's me. So just anytime, we'd love to come on. Thank you.
All right, thanks guys.
Talk to you soon.
That is Avery and Ivan Zweig. Avery and Ivan Zweig. And I tell you what, folks, you want to talk about what a wonderful young lady and a great father that she's got there as a coach and a caddy. And boy, you want to talk about a successful run. 109 golf tournaments won already. She's 9 years old. Amazing.